It's time to move on to Unit 3. We're going to talk about income and expenses, getting started with your financial lifestyle. So gross pay and net pay are both terms I've used before, and you've written the definitions down in previous chapters. Gross pay is the amount of money that you make, your income, before taxes come out, and net pay is what you have left after taxes come out. Disposable income is another way of saying net pay. It's the money remaining for a person to spend or save after all the taxes have been paid. You should write the definition of disposable income, but just know that net pay and disposable income are both used to pay bills and expenses after deductions are taken out of your check. You should always have a financial plan, whether it's a long-term or a short-term financial plan. You're setting goals on what you want to do with your money. So I'll set a goal for spending. Maybe I want to buy something in particular this month with my paycheck. I set a goal for savings. Maybe spring break is on its way and I want to make sure that I have money to go where I want to go. And I want to set a goal and plan for investing my money. Investing meaning I want it to grow so when I retire, I have income to use. Please write the definition of a financial plan in your notes. Budgeting is a term that you should be very familiar with and will continue to hear throughout the rest of this course. A budget is a spending and savings plan based on income and expenses. These are the two most important words in this definition. A budget is a plan showing you what's coming in and what's going out. So the money coming in is what we call earned income, and it has to equal what's going out, meaning what are you spending and savings on. So the money coming in has to equal the money going out in order for your budget to be what we call balanced. A budget helps you plan your spending and savings so that you won't have to borrow money or use credit to meet your daily needs. This is a very simple budget. We have Evan Anderson and September's budget. His income, remember what's going in, is the idea that he has a part-time job in which he earned $320. His parents are also still paying him an allowance, so he's getting $20 extra that month. And September also happens to be Evan's birthday. So Evan makes $40 in birthday gifts. His total income is $380. Now, as far as expenses are concerned, what's going out? On a daily basis, Evan buys lunch. He has supplies for school. He has clothing, and he has entertainment. These are the categories that Evan keeps organized for money going out, which total $280. Evan also is smart enough to say that he is going to put $100 away, which is what he has left, in a credit union account for savings. So with all of the things he pays for in September and the rest of the money he's putting away in a savings account, his income and his outgoing money is completely equal, which means his budget is balanced. We want you to estimate your income before you make a budget. It's hard to tell how much money you have until you actually start getting some paychecks. So you're going to estimate how much money is going to come in, and then you're going to estimate your expenses. So Evan estimated that he'd be spending $40 in September on clothes. Maybe in the winter you have more money that you spend because you're buying winter coats or layers. So you just come up with an estimate. You want to decide how much you want to save. Although Evan saved $100 at the end of September, the actual recommendation is that you put your savings away in the beginning, right after you get your check, so you're not tempted to use it. And then you want to make sure that everything is balanced, meaning what's going out is equal to what came in. You're not overspending. Here's the example that we saw. Going out, coming in, totally equal. There are ways to estimate your expenses, and those ways are called expenses based on fixed and variable amounts. So you can estimate if you know that something is going to be the same or close to the same every month, meaning it's a fixed expense. Rent and car payments are both fixed expenses. They typically don't change from month to month. Your grocery bills are definitely going to be a variable expense, because it's hard to predict how much food you're going to buy one month to the next. Maybe one month you're on vacation a few days, so you won't have a bunch of food in your refrigerator. But the following month is a party at your house, so you have to buy extra snacks for your guests. Fixed expenses stay the same, variable expenses change. Please write these definitions in your notes. We're going to hear a little bit more about budgeting and talk more about that after this video.
How to set a budget and stick to it. A budget is a tool you need to help you stretch your paycheck as far as it'll go, and all it takes is just a little bit of discipline, planning, and most importantly, prioritization. While creating a budget may seem overwhelming at first, the time you spend putting it together will certainly be worth it when the process of paying your monthly bills becomes a little less stressful. So, where do you start? Well, setting a goal is always a good place to begin. It gives you something to shoot for, and then, of course, making a plan that's going to set you in motion. So here's how to do that in 6 easy steps. Step 1. Know your income. Seems simple enough, right? But knowing how much you can spend each month starts with knowing how much you take home. That means you can't build your budget based on your salary. It should be based on your net income. So get out some pay stubs and see what you're clearing after taxes, insurance, 401k contributions, and other stuff like that. Step 2. Determine your basic expenses. Figure out what your fixed expenses are every month. These are the things that don't fluctuate or change dramatically throughout the year, like rent or mortgage payments, good old car payments, insurance, and student loans. This is also a good time to make sure you have some kind of safety net to help you pay for these expenses in case of an emergency, like if you need a new water heater or your car needs a new transmission. Step 3. Determine expenses that vary each month. These are the things that change based on usage, like your phone and other utilities, as well as your grocery bill. That could change. You could also add up all those flexible expenses, like clothes, restaurant meals, and entertainment costs. These are the costs that you have control over. Step 4. Determine what's really important. When it comes to creating a budget that works, you have to take a really hard look at what you feel is truly necessary. As much as you'd like to think you can't live without the latest gadget, this type of expense should go into the like-to-have category. So if you want to find the fluff in your budget, start digging into your variable expenses and rank what's most important to you. Do you really need unlimited texting on your cell phone? If not, get rid of it. Are you watching all the 437 channels of cable? No? Downgrade to basic. Step 5. Follow your spending and review monthly. You want to give your budget a fighting chance, right? So keep an eye on your wallet, and especially those credit cards, to make sure you're spending within limits throughout the month. It's easy to forget, right? And even easier for the small things to start adding up, so keep on it. Step 6. Keep track. Find a way that works for you to keep track of your expenses. That can mean the old pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or one of those new fancy fun budgeting apps. A lot of banks have these as part of their online banking. They are easy to find and use, so be sure to look for them. Then, you just balance your budget. Keep your income information current and track your actual expenses monthly. After a few months, you'll start to see patterns. Then you can figure out where you can streamline and make adjustments. Now, if you don't want to go it alone, there are some sites all over the internet to help you analyze what you have coming in and what you're spending. All in all, making a budget is a process that will take some time and effort. But put these steps into place, and what you'll get in return is well worth it. Before long, you can have more money for the things you want, in addition to the things you need.
So in a nutshell, that's the basic repeat of what we've been talking about. You want to make sure that every financial plan has sensible steps. The next term that we want to go over is the term net worth. We have to talk first about assets and liabilities in order to understand this diagram. Net worth is based on assets minus liabilities. What you own, OWN, meaning the items of value that you have, minus what you owe, money or debt, we call those liabilities, OWE. When you subtract, you get your net worth. So once you figure out the items in your house that you no longer are paying for, maybe you've already purchased your TV and your furniture, those could all be considered assets. Like if you sold them, you would make money. Whereas items that you own versus owe will show you your total net worth, because I'm still making payments on my car. So my car is not completely owned yet. I still owe money, and that's a debt. So if we go back to the previous slide, we can see Maria's net worth statement. What she owns, the money that she has that she no longer has to pay onto. She has $500 in her checking, $800 in her savings, $3,000 of the value of her car if she sold it right now, and her personal property, meaning jewelry, clothing, maybe some technology that she's done paying for, would equal $5,000. So when we add up all of her assets, Maria has $9,300 worth. However, she's still making payments on her car in the tune of $1,800, and she owes her parents $100 from a loan she took out with them. So in total, her liabilities are $1,900. When you take what she owns, OWN, minus what she owes, OWE, so ownership or assets minus liabilities or debt, gives you $7,400. So Maria's net worth would be $7,400. Assets minus liabilities. Make sure you write the definition for both of these. Actually, all three, because net worth is definitely a term you want to be familiar with. What you want to do at this time is go ahead and make sure you have all of the blue vocabulary words written down with a definition, and then you want to open up a tab on your computer and write down or find for me a celebrity's net worth, and write down the amount that they're worth according to the internet. So for example, Steve Jobs, what was his net worth before he passed? Or maybe you want to look at the idea of your favorite musician or actor and see what they're worth as well.